Welcome to episode 101 of The Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaffer. I'm here with my co host, Rudy. And I'm also here with a
Hey,
guest, my brother, Dan Schaffer. Daniel. I mean, how do you even go nowadays? I don't even know. Dan, Daniel.
No, I go by Daniel, and then
Okay.
people just say Dan for short.
I
It,
will just point out, just knowing Tim, and this is the first time I've interacted with Dan at all. You guys, could point out that you guys are brothers very easily. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I guess we're only a year and a few months apart, so.
You guys definitely look alike, that's for sure.
So, I mean, before we were recording, we were literally talking about Pogs. And I was like, yeah, our age group,
right in
that's
that
the
range.
only that would know Pogs. Yeah.
Actually, I'm right behind you, Tim. I'm 89. So I'm like
Oh,
slightly
okay.
behind. I'm about to be 34.
So 87,
Yeah.
88, 89. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I've had people on discussing this or that, but I've never had anyone come on discussing cryptocurrency and just why you're even into it. And I love to find individuals that are just super passionate about whatever subject and could just like spill
Yeah.
about all the details based around it because we know nothing when it comes to this.
Right. That's why we want you on.
All I know is just what most people would know. And outside of mess around with like a integrity coin, making assets, making videos or whatever for it, just for some extra like cash on the side. But I still don't even know what I'm necessarily even like memeing or putting in. You know what I mean? So it's however you want to tackle this angle. I don't know, just like the origins of it or just why you're into it. However you want to handle it. I just want to get a grasp on cryptocurrency as a whole or why you're even I guess still involved because you've been in it for a while.
Yeah, I've been in it since 2017, but I mean, I guess when you're looking about how you approach it or how you're getting into it, something like that, first of all, it's kind of like electricity, right? You're not thinking about when you turn on the light switch, how does the wire go through the wall? How does the electricity work? How does it all happen? You're just kind of like forced to use it and it just runs in the background. And that's what pretty much blockchain is. The cryptocurrency is just a speculative asset. Does it go up? Does it go down? Do I buy? Do
Okay,
I
wait. So
sell?
is cryptocurrency forming out of blockchain? I don't even know that
No,
fact.
well, if the thing of it is Satoshi Nakamoto wanted to create something that the banks couldn't control. He wanted this right after 2008. He created what's called the white paper, and this is the creator of Bitcoin.
Where is
And
he from?
Satoshi Nakamoto is just a pseudonym. He could be
Oh.
multiple people. He could be a woman. He could be a
Interesting.
man. He
No one
could be
knows?
no one knows. No one's found him yet.
Okay.
They think he's dead. They think he's alive. He has like 1 million Bitcoin in a wallet, and you can trace
Jeez.
every Bitcoin's movement.
Right.
And it hasn't moved. Not one Bitcoin's moved out of that wallet. So people are just watching it. If that anything moves out of that wallet, the whole world would end probably.
That's nuts.
So, but that hasn't happened for 10 years,
What's the
well,
value of
2000,
Bitcoin right now?
I mean,
That's
right
like
now it's like 25, 28,000, probably like close going in between 25 and 30,000 right now.
Okay.
I mean,
But
last I remember it was like 8,000. So
well, it reached a
That's
high
insane.
of like
It
70,000.
got pretty up there, yeah.
So
So can we
But-
explain what the blockchain is for dumb people like myself?
Yeah.
Is blockchain starting from email chains
no,
correctly, right?
when I
Or what is
when I
it?
want to go back, let me go back.
Okay,
So
okay.
back in the 90s, there was like this e-cash stuff. Like they had all these digital currencies that all these crypto punks started to create. Right? You've heard of the crypto punks, right?
No.
There's like
haven't.
cypherpunks, crypto cypherpunks. These are like a group of guys that are doing like this crazy tech stuff with cryptography and doing crazy things with like creating. They're just hackers. They're just pretty much hackers.
Okay.
And you got to search them up. Crypto cypherpunks. All those games are pretty much made from them. The idea of what they do. And so they created a bunch of cryptocurrencies back in the 80s and 90s, DigiCash, digital cash, and all this stuff. And they got shut down by the government because they had no way to keep it decentralized, not controlled by one company.
Right,
When you have
okay.
something that's controlled by a company, someone can find you and stop you, right? If it's controlled by everyone in the world, who is someone going to go after, right?
Right.
Okay.
There's no one to go after, right? So in the 90s, this kept happening where they couldn't find a way to keep it decentralized. And there's another problem with this called the double spin problem. And it's what it's what credit card companies face all the time with fraud. It's like somebody will spend something and then they'll claim they'll get their money back on it, but really they'll keep the item,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
double
yeah.
back charge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he couldn't create this cryptocurrency because this double spinning problem. How do I give you one Bitcoin and it's just one Bitcoin? It's somebody doesn't copy it, just like they copy JPEGs. You know what I mean? How
Okay.
can they keep it like a true source of one, and it's yours and no one else's? So he found a brilliant way to create this what's called a ledger. Like at a bank, everyone's got
Right.
all their accounts written down on a piece of paper, all the accounts written down on a ledger, right? The bank
Yeah.
tells you, Tim sends $100 to me. Well, Tim minus $100, Dan plus $100, right? But who's in control of this ledger? Do you trust those people, right? You trust the bank that writes the numbers there? That's a centralized authority that can collapse, like Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic Bank. There was billions of dollars that just lost a few months ago in that.
Yeah.
Right?
There's stories every 6 months of a bank issue.
Yeah,
Of
another one.
big catastrophe. Yeah. Yeah.
So Satoshi Nakamoto 2008, right? All this stuff happened. He's like he's got to find a way to fix this. So he creates this way that's called proof of work. It's a way to prove. So you need people to write down in this ledger. Who do you trust to write down this ledger? Well, he devised this plan where if you want to write down in the ledger, let's say I send you a Bitcoin, Tim, and you have 3 Bitcoin and I have 2. Now someone needs to write down Dan has 3, Tim has 2. So
Right.
what Satoshi Nakamoto did is he put an algorithm, a math problem out there. He says, okay, whoever solves this algorithm, this math problem first, gets to update the ledger. And if you solve this math problem and update the ledger, I'll reward you with some Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
So what's the way to win a lottery? You would buy more lotto tickets, right?
Sure.
So this algorithm is a lottery, and the computers are just running computer power to solve the computer problem, right?
Okay.
So I'm sending you a transaction. It goes out as a lotto. Okay, whoever solves this math problem first gets to write it down and gets the reward. So you have all these people competing, millions and millions of people buying millions of miners. They're called miners, mining rigs. ASIC, they're using just hard drives, ASIC miners. In the very early days, people were just using their computer to mine, their laptop to mine it. But as more and more people start mining, there's something called a difficulty adjustment. So every 6 days, the network reads, okay, how many people are mining? Do we make the math problem harder or do we make it easier? And if there's less miners, then make the math problem easier. And if it's more miners, then make the math problem harder.
Makes sense.
So this protects if you ever have a collapse of one nation of miners, because then it will just pick up in another nation because the math problem gets way easier.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That actually makes sense.
So if you had, let's pretend all the miners had to stop mining right now. Well, then you have everybody on their laptop and their cell phones mining again.
Yeah.
But then if
Right?
everyone's doing it, you have people with the
Because the
high-end
only reason
graphics cards.
Exactly. The only reason we're not doing it right now is because we need a mining farm with the huge industry, with the huge. We need to be in Colorado somewhere cold.
The competition is very steep right now.
Yeah. Okay. So now you understand this.
Okay.
I want to send Tim Bitcoin. They're trying to get the math problem to get it first, because whoever gets it gets rewarded with Bitcoin. And this reward, it gets cut in half every 4 years until there's no more Bitcoin left. Okay. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. So every time on the very beginning, when you solved this problem, you got rewarded with 50 Bitcoin. The next 4 years, you got rewarded 25 Bitcoin. The next 4 years, so that goes all the way down until there's 0 Bitcoin. And so right now we're 95% mined, and the next 5% is going to take 100 years.
Jeez.
So we did 95% in the first 10, 15 years we've already mined. So that's how early we are and how long it's going to be till the last Bitcoin is mined, because it goes 18 decimal points to the zero, right? So you have point, then you have 0, you have 1.0, 0.00. It goes 18 times. So that's when you have no more Bitcoin. That's in the year 2100, right? All right. So let's go back to this. I'm sending you Bitcoin. The miner mines it. He gets rewarded. If one entity owns 51% of all the miners, they can control the network, and that's called the 51% attack. That's Bitcoin's only vulnerability.
Okay.
Right. So how hard would it right now to hack 51% of all miners mining Bitcoin, right? I don't think there's enough money in the world to do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about the end days and you want to be like revolution, like talk about revelations and maybe the one world antichrist is coming to one world government, then you
That's
might be
the
able to say, okay,
levels that it needs.
yeah.
Okay.
Then you
Okay.
could maybe say like, okay, this is a perfect way to create the mark of the beast, but that's going to be maybe done through central bank digital currencies, probably not Bitcoin. But that's a whole nother worm we won't get into,
Yeah.
So are there any other like big vulnerabilities that you see with Bitcoin besides that?
So you have so you have these node, so they call these people node operators. These guys, these miners, they have these miner rigs, but what they're not, what they're operating are nodes on a network. And people are sending their transactions and they're waiting until that fills up. They're not just going to send one transaction to the Bitcoin network. They're going to wait till their mempool, it's called, fills up with as much memory as it's allowed to fill up with, and then they're going to send their transaction to get as much money as possible. Because to include myself before you, like sending that's what people don't understand. Bitcoin's free to send. You can send Bitcoin anywhere for free for zero cost, but it's going to take you a hell of a long time to send that shit, because no miner is going to be incentivized to pick it up. Well, it's like a tip. Right? If the tip right now to get included in the transaction first is $5, well, you pay $6, you're going to get in there first.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
It depends how congested the network is, right?
Okay.
But so that's the problem with Bitcoin is, as soon as this is really important, because Bitcoins can only hold a small amount of memory, is what keeps it decentralized. Once you increase the block size and allow more and more memory to be inside of more transactions and be included, and it becomes centralized, right? Because it can only store memory for only a few moments at a time. As transactions are going through, it can only store memory for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then it sends it out. Well, you start building that block, now it's storing memory for a day or two. You know what I mean? And those are more centralized networks. That's what you have Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is like fighting the Bitcoin network. Like, well, these are taking too long. I could do transactions for less than a penny. Well, of course, but let's say more people adopt the network. Now you're going to increase the blocks again, and more people adopt the network. You're going to keep increasing blocks. No, you can't. That's not a solution. So Bitcoin network.
Okay. So what is the blockchain then? Because I feel I'm starting
the blockchain is just a word about each time you send a transaction of mempool of these transactions, you create a block. In each block of transaction is connected to the previous block. And that's what keeps the ledger in sync. So you can always look at the previous transaction. Everything is public. Everything is open. All the blocks are connected in a chain. All blocks of transactions are connected in a chain called a blockchain.
Okay.
So hold on, just to make sure I understand correctly. So because everything's so well documented, you're saying that, I guess it protects the I don't know what's the right word, like the integrity of it. It can't be as easily,
There's no liars allowed. You could trustless system.
Right. And now, what about the volatility of it? Is it still? I don't follow it honestly, so I don't know. Like, is it still?
So again, that's the difference between the coin and the blockchain network. So what Satoshi Nakamoto was trying to do is create this Bitcoin, and how he was trying to figure out how he can do this in a way that people could use it in a decentralized way and keep it on a decentralized network that no one could control. And in creating this Bitcoin, He created the blockchain network. He doesn't talk too much about that in his white paper. He more concentrates on the Bitcoin, this asset. But what he did was created the most important step in the technological revolution for hundreds of years. Is what's called blockchain, and it's what it is. It's called programmable money. It's the first time in the history of any time that we can program money. Okay. And it's very important. There's only a few times in history that money has changed, right? You go back a long time ago, people doing seashells, right? And there were people on in the middle weren't close to the oceans, so they couldn't get many shells. Well, then once the explorers started going in coast, they started bringing a bunch of seashells with them, and they got whatever they wanted, right? So that didn't work. And then gold has always been great, right? Gold has been the one through history, but they say, okay, well, let's put that into fiat currency so we can do a loan system. So then it changed to fiat. Well, they got rid of the gold part. They kept the fiat, right? Now people still use gold, but gold is hard to transact. You're going to go to the grocery store and be like, let me buy some eggs. Let me scrape you off some gold right fast on my bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How you gonna do that? Let me get you a link off real fast. Let me get you some gold. It's not a great way to transact. Or people running, like my wife's family is in Ukraine right now, in Kiev, and the war's going on. It's crazy. So their banks are shutting down and everything right now. So you can imagine they're trying to leave with their wealth. Let's say they're really wealthy, right? Let's say unfortunately they're wealthy, right? They're not, but let's just say they were.
Okay.
Now, what do they go like Santa Claus with a bunch of fiat currency of something of their dollar bill in their country that may not exist anymore in a few years? Do they put it in gold and just sneak it up their butt and try to sneak across the border? You know what I'm saying?
So how big can the transactions
So with
be when you're
Bitcoin,
trying to transfer it like overseas?
Right. So
Just
with
using
Bitcoin,
whatever bank.
yeah.
Do
So
you know the charge currently?
no. So listen, there's no that's sending money is the transaction.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Let's say let's just say this. I had some Bitcoin on a wallet, and with this wallet, the only thing you need to do is write down 12 words and remember these 12 words.
Okay.
Right. So I tell them, hey, they're in Ukraine. I'm telling them, hey, go ahead and leave. I got these 12 words for you. Once you get across the border, use those 12 words, get on the internet, get into somewhere to public library, right? Get on the internet, use that 12 words, and you got your Bitcoin, and now just go sell it on a either there's called local Bitcoins where people can meet you face to face, or you can sell it right on a bank account. Like mine, of course, you have to find a way to sell it off to a bank account, but I sell mine through like Coinbase hooked to my Wells Fargo bank account, right? But let's say they don't have a Wells Fargo
there's plenty
bank account.
at this point that take that. So
and there's ATMs, local ATMs that you can use to extract money out. They charge a big fee and everything, but if it's dire need, whatever, they can do it, right? There's enough off ramps. We don't need to. We're past that point where there's no off ramps for Bitcoin, right? Every country has so many off ramps for Bitcoin. People begging to buy your Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So no, it's just a way. They don't have to, they can easily get you. It's a way for you. You don't look at Bitcoin like I'm trying to get rich. I'm trying to make some money. You need to look at it like, okay. Now go to Walmart and look at the line at the Western Union. How many people do you see spending 10% of their paycheck, 5% of their paycheck to send it to the most remote places of the world? Even in the more remote, it costs more money, right?
Yeah.
So they're spending like $5,000. They're gonna spend like $200-300 to do that, right?
Yeah,
it's insane. You could do that. All the person needs with crypto is internet connection and a smartphone.
So was that? Do you think that was like an original goal of like, hey, we just that was always the case and always a reason why it even existed? He
said he calls it the head title. The head of the title of the white paper says peer-to-peer electronic cash.
So yes, it was. Okay.
Peer-to-peer electronic cash.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's a way for us to send value to each other. And what it has turned to, a lot of people have seen it when he first wrote it. He wrote it as a peer-to-peer electronic cash, a way for me and you to transact value. But what it has become is a store of wealth. It has become more like because people aren't out there spending their Bitcoin at the grocery store. just like they're
Yeah.
not spending their gold at the grocery store.
Yeah, they're trying to
Right.
hoard it. I mean,
Yeah,
to be honest,
they're
right?
seeing it as a sound money, which means it's money that's secure and it has longevity, and it's not controlled by anybody. Like gold, Bitcoin people love gold, right? So
Okay.
that's more of the idea of he's coming at, let's find a way we could send money peer to peer, no one control it. And then there's a whole dark aspect of it of who he was and why he created it and da 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 da. And the first people to adopt it were am I lagging?
No, you're good.
Okay, the first people to adopt it was the Silk Road. I'm sure y'all heard the stories of the Silk Road and the dark web, and people using it to buy stuff off the dark web.
Yeah. Now I want to switch tracks, and you can pull me back if you want. But so all this Bitcoin's happening now.
But let me say this real fast.
What about the
Let me say this.
extra currencies? Is what I want to
Extra
get
credit.
into
We'll
next.
talk about that too. I'll talk about it right now. But let me say this first before I finish my thought on that. Criminals that use Bitcoin are idiots because they can track everything you do. Everyone can track everything you're doing, right? So anyone that does that are idiots, right? So yeah. But the other currencies,
Okay.
Bitcoin is for the blockchain or the Bitcoin network, right? It's a you got to think of like these different networks like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Polygon, and Cardano. You got to think of these like Apple, Microsoft. You got to think of these like platforms. You can't go on Google Play Store and download Apple apps, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So you can think of like Bitcoin network as like IBM, right? It's slow, doesn't do anything anymore. Everyone uses it, whatever,
Okay.
And then Ethereum is like Apple, right? It's the new guy in town.
Now all of these are being created to have a similar goal, but just have their own thing instead of using Bitcoin. But they all share a goal of having their own individual way where a bank can't control your funds and still the same goals otherwise. But people just want their own because, well, they just mean they own, and hopefully it gets popular enough to now their currency that they own, a lot of people are using as well, that then makes them more money, and it's just still a way of hoarding funds but being separate from the bank. And that's why these coins
kind
are
of.
created, that's my guess.
Yeah, so not necessarily. In a way, yes, a lot of assets are like that. They don't have any utility. They just have what's called pumpamentals and no fundamentals, right?
Okay. So what has utility then?
The Ethereum's, you got to remember, so Ethereum is like a network. Again, it's like Apple. You go to the App Store and you have all these apps that you could play on, right? You could play games, you can listen to music, blah blah blah. So that's Ethereum. Ethereum it's called decentralized applications. They're called dApps. So you go on the Ethereum network on Ethereum and you pick applications that are run decentralized by no passwords, no networks, no permission, no email, no username. It just connects to your
it's a store where people can buy and use apps and maybe have microtransactions within those apps to sort of.
Well, you can play games. You could play. There's a whole world built on it. You could build art. You could play games. You could do real estate. You could prove ownership of assets because you remember the blockchain. Everything's written down, so everything's proven on there. So what if I have my house deed on there? What if I have my property of my house on there? What if I had my sword that I had from World of Warcraft, that server shut down, that no one has ever got access to, that they can no longer access their World of Warcraft sword or whatever they had because their server shut down, right? But now I have that asset as an NFT on the blockchain, and I could take it to whatever game I want to put it on. There's no limit, right?
So
I could take a gun from Call of Duty and put it on, like Battlefield. Right?
Yeah, I understand. It gives you the ability to just have an original object that you can move wherever. But that also involves the other person to create a way to grab that object and put it inside of their game. And my biggest throwback to that when I always see it is like I always see people say this. I have yet to see it implemented in a way that I care.
Minecraft is already done.
Yeah, I just don't care about Minecraft.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Minecraft, you could take it from any platform. So the problem is having items going cross-platform. You have this item that you've been playing on your PlayStation for. I played Grand Theft Auto, whatever, for years on my PS3. Now I want to go play it on Xbox, the new Xbox, because it came out for PS3, Grand Theft Auto 5. You don't realize that.
Yeah.
Now I want to go play it for the new Xbox, right? Because it's a new game there. Now I lost all. I don't have my 4-wheeler from 4th of July, American flag 4-wheeler. Who the fuck else has a
do they allow that transfer currently, or is that something they're working towards?
No, that's not a cross. Well, that happens with NFTs on the blockchain.
Oh, you're using that as an example,
right? I understand.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, Minecraft is doing that.
Yeah.
So what is for someone who believes in cryptocurrency? What is the end goal? Do we want everyone to be using crypto as opposed to normal cash? Is that not the goal? Like what is
So again, it goes back to what's the utility. So on
Right.
Ethereum, when I'm using these decentralized applications, when I'm spinning these transactions and I want to get included my name written on the blockchain, I need to pay a fee. So the fee takes Ethereum, right? I need Ethereum to pay these fees, right? So I need to hold Ethereum. It's not that I want to hold Ethereum. I just need to hold it because I got to
do
fees.
What exactly? I know to pay fees, but what are you doing?
To buy
exactly.
to any transaction on the network. So there's if I want to go and list off a bunch of things, let me list off some.
Just one or two examples.
Taking a loan out, buying or selling anything, an NFT or any other asset, right? Locking something called a smart contract where you write code like, okay, let's say I want to write a will. When I die, my son gets all my money, but first he needs to get married. And then after he gets married, he needs to get a job with at least $100,000 minimum, thing. He does this, and I'll give him my life's wealth, right? So you write smart contracts that lawyers can't control, right? There's just it's endless. Leverage trading. My favorite thing is I get paid to borrow money. I lock up my Bitcoin, like let's say a $10,000 Bitcoin, I'll borrow $5,000. And because I lock up the Bitcoin, they're paying me to lock it up because I use it as, you got to remember, guys, the banks are the liquidity providers, right? So when I send you a transaction here and there, the bank is what's holding and controlling the liquidity, right? Once I start locking my money in these networks, I become the liquidity provider and I earn the fees from people transacting money, right? I'm facilitating all the liquidity. And these are done on what they're called decentralized exchanges like Uniswap. People have locked in, I think right now it's like over $100 billion of money for anyone to be able to use, right? But even on the games, let's say they're using like Sandbox, right? Where all these people like, you have these type of games too. I've seen them before where it's like a world and you buy land on this world, right? You got these type of things like the spaceship, the galaxies, the different galaxies, and you buy different worlds, right? So
not really, but I know what you mean though.
I'm not buying, but I know what he's talking about. Like,
yeah.
think like No Man's Sky or something. You claim the world, right? It's yours.
Yeah.
It's
there's just
to you.
no. There really isn't a game where you can technically like buy land and then trade between people. I don't think I've ever seen that outside of maybe like what was that very like space computer game?
Yes, I saw that.
That's Star Citizen or something.
Yes, that
might be Star Citizen, the game that will never actually come out.
Right.
Yeah. So what it is like, what they're trying to do is play to earn type system where like instead of playing, and just earning like pretty much something that has no value, these people are actually playing these games. The hours they're actually spending, they're earning something they can actually sell it and gain value from. I understand RuneScape, and I play Elder Scrolls Online, like I'm addicted to that like all the time. So I understand you have your bots in there that farm stuff and they sell it, and people actually do real money transactions on RuneScape and Elder Scrolls Online and stuff like that. I'm not oblivious to that, but why not do that in a decentralized way where it's not all scammy and you're scared,
So a reason why I never mess with it is it it just never occurs in my daily life, and until it did, it's hard to remember it even exists. So like I work at a job, they pay me the paycheck that goes through whatever bank, and then until
Mhm.
that could be channeled through crypto,
Mhm.
I can't force them to send me a crypto check. They
Yeah,
have to
and
send me through a bank.
that's what you have to take the little extra steps. Like me and my wife, what we do is we actually use, which is still a centralized service, it's still a bank, but we use Coinbase debit card. So and we use something called USDC. It's a cryptocurrency that's equal to the dollar, and
Okay.
it doesn't change. It's pegged from the dollar, and they give you 2% APY for putting your money in that. So on Coinbase, we'll put our we get our paycheck, we send it to actually you can go in there and write your direct deposit code
Oh,
as that
automatic. Okay.
debit card. So you can change like 50% your bank, 50% into this debit card,
Yeah.
and then they give you 2% for USD sitting in there, and then every time
Okay.
you make a transaction, they give you 1% cash back in Bitcoin,
Okay.
right? So she's paying all her
Coinbase,
bills.
I can use Coinbase in Cash App, and I could technically
Mm-hmm.
get a Cash App debit card, use my Coinbase currency, and actually buy stuff in the
Mm-hmm.
store that way. So
Right.
that's actually, I could
It's
use
all
that.
about the
So that's a
infrastructure,
channel.
right?
Yeah.
So
If
you
there's
want to
a
get in
finding
before
ways
the,
where I could, I don't know, go
yeah,
buy some
but that's the
bread and
thing about
materials at a
new
store
emerging
or
tech.
buying a, yeah, yeah.
That's the new thing about new emerging technology, though. You have to get in before the stuff is too easy. So you're
Yeah.
telling me right now the stuff that you're playing with, you're experiencing, you're exploring. You're not exploring with the newest thing that's coming out of that of that part of that industry, right? Because if you're not there first and if you can't experience it, okay, how many games have people given up on when they launch? And then 2 years later, like, have you revisited that in 2023? The fucking game is awesome. You know what I'm saying?
I
It
mean, that
was
happens a
like
lot.
Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls
Oh, this
Online.
wasn't me slamming it. I'm all for it. This is me just saying why
No,
I don't
no, I
use it.
know, but people have that
Yeah,
concept in mind
yeah.
with these games too. Like, it's going to be broken in the beginning. Like, they're trying to release the game. Like, don't give up on hope. If it's someone that's fixing problems when people are asking to change it, and you see the community, when the community is like, hey man, this doesn't work, like, why are you doing this? Change it. And they change it, then what's wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
people are writing off projects, writing off, games, because there's just like they had a terrible launch. They thought they were going to go a direction, but you know,
I
I'm
guess
sure y'all.
I guess the main I get what you're saying. I guess the main difference I see is crypto is a new concept, right? You should give some leeway to them trying these new things because it is a new ground. But Tim and I have covered so many games where, all right, you should have nailed this from the start, right? You're trying something brand new in a video game. I'm with you, yeah. No Man's Sky, for example, I can forgive
Mhm,
those guys. They were trying some really new stuff, right? But
mhm.
like Redfall, like
You're
come on,
repeating the
that's
same stuff that we saw 15 years ago,
exactly.
and they
So
did it better
I
than
can
you.
see I can give more grace to the crypto because
Yeah.
it's it's a relatively new idea. So I get that.
Right, and they just don't have. They have one project that has that's using the same gaming. What is that called?
Unreal.
The rent. Yeah, it's using the Unreal. The what is it called? What is
Engine
this?
5.
Unreal
Yes,
Engine
the
5.
engine. Yes, so it's called Illuvium. I don't know if y'all have looked at that yet.
I haven't heard of
No.
that.
Illuvium, and it kind of
Illuvium.
looks like No Man's Sky. Is there a way you can kind of pull up their little? Maybe they have some
If you
type of
tell me
little
how to spell
gameplay.
it, how do you
I'm gonna
spell
take a
it?
look. I
Illuvium.
found it.
They got some gameplay. Like
The
every day
world.
they're showing.
Oh, it's a
And you,
blockchain game. Okay.
yeah,
Let's
and
see.
so
Join
you
the
can buy
fight.
the land on this thing. You mine resources. It's kind of like what Star.
I'll throw the
Yeah, throw the link. Let me see.
it's got a gameplay trailer, so
Yeah,
let's see.
and it's still in development. It's not released yet, but they have the guys will go in there and tell him, "Hey man, he needs to
My
do this. He needs to run faster. He needs to," and you can watch it live with them building this game.
So what? Okay, I'm watching. I mean, the gameplay looks fun. It looks cool. But what is it? Why am I playing this? What is I guess it's what you said. You can buy with
Well,
crypto.
so you
can
can
It's
use
buy.
play to
currency.
earn. People in other countries, they don't have ways to like generate a big wealth of income. So
Sure.
a perfect story of this is with Axie Infinity. I think Tim, I tried to get you to play it a long time ago, and if you did, you would have been a millionaire right now. So
I
sorry
don't
about
remember.
that. Remember the little the little characters that said they're eggs and they evolved when you made them and they battle each other. Remember I showed you the videos
Yeah,
of it. I
but
tried
see,
to give
that's the
some to your
thing is
son.
whether something is like takes off and makes a lot of money or not.
Well,
I
yeah,
I want to invest in
enjoy
stuff
the
that I
gameplay.
genuinely enjoy. I don't want to do
Okay.
it for the money.
No, I understand that, but
It's like buying records. It's like, hey, I can buy records that worth 200 and I buy for $5. But genuinely, I just want the 50 or 60 records that I genuinely want to listen to. And
no,
like
I
I
know.
kind of
No.
apply that in my life when it comes
Well, I
to
guess what the thing is
everything.
though is what I felt like it is like it's like one of those phone games you play on your phone, and people play these stupid games on their phones, man. That
Oh,
just
I've
make
seen way
no
dumber
sense.
games than
I
that.
gotcha.
Yes,
Oh
million
my
percent.
gosh, man!
I
It's just
can't
like,
do
how does someone spend
it.
hours and hours
Yeah,
on this, you know? And so it's not one of those games you're playing on your computer, whatever. It's one you're playing your phone or whatever. And the thing is there's people in the Philippines, like so there was this village in the Philippines, perfect story for this. And the whoever played this game, first of all, if they had the characters, when they bought them, they were worth like $5 to buy, and then like 2 years later, now they're selling them for $30,000-$40,000, right? Not only that, is the first people that played the game, they airdropped them all like $5,000 worth of their token.
Whoa.
Right. So everybody that played their game before they launched their token, because they didn't have a token, they just had the game. Right.
yeah.
And people kind of had an idea they're going to launch a token. Usually it's called an airdrop. Right. Just for playing these games before these places have tokens, they're getting tokens and people make millions this way. So this whole village all got $5,000 each, and they had multiple wallets, and this whole village became like super wealthy in the middle of like the Philippines, right?
Okay.
So it's changing people's lives around the world, right? Just
Yeah,
by
that's pretty
because
cool.
not maybe $5,000 here, maybe we'll buy like a down payment on a car. Happy days for them.
But no, I'm
It literally
aware.
just
Philippines, like
gave them,
our money goes a long way. Yes.
and not even the Philippines. You go to Africa, you go wherever,
Yeah.
right? And they could
Thailand,
feed the whole village
you
for
could.
years.
Yeah.
So it's putting life-changing wealth all around the world. They're taking it out of the hands of the centralized few and bringing it and spreading it.
I mean,
It's
I'm all
called
about
the
that.
Great wealth
I
transfer.
mean, that's definitely a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Like the more the government gets hit, the happier I become. I mean that's
Well, it's
just
not
my
the government, it's
reality.
like big money, right?
Well, they all play together.
Yeah, of course.
But yes. Okay, so you have you understood blockchain. You have the main cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin. You have a bunch
Right.
of others, basically trying to do that same
Mhm.
premise for various reasons.
Yeah, and some are these. It's called a layer one network. Some are these ones where these contracts, with it's called smart contracts, where these decentralized applications can be built on top of. Remember, Bitcoin is a small memory, so smart
Yeah.
contracts can't be built on Bitcoin well.
Yeah.
They're very slow. They're very primitive. It can't happen. Bitcoin was made to be simple, store value, digital cash, digital gold. Don't mess with it. Don't try to evolve it. Leave it alone. It is what it is, right? Ethereum was built because Bitcoin was built on C++, right? Everyone knows how primitive C++ is. Like you could barely do crap on C++. So Ethereum was built on.
I actually have a lot of I think C++ is quite powerful, but
Well, not as Python and Viper
yes,
and
yes.
Java and all
C++
these other ones that are
is
out
very
there.
like baseline, but it's
Yeah.
like using Notepad. Like you can build a website in Notepad, but
Yeah.
it's very basic. But
if
I
you're trying to
understand.
build a decentralized app network, you're not trying to use C++. I mean,
Yes.
an application network. If you're trying to be like Apple and build an application network, you're not.
I
trying to
just
use
heard
C++.
slander against C++, not to defend it.
So, anyways, what they're using is Solidity, and Solidity is better for writing. I don't know. It's a new language. It's kind of like JavaScript a little bit. but it's better for programming money and everything. And they're using Solidity. And these on Solidity, you can write these smart contracts and you can build these dApps better, these decentralized applications. Okay. Not every coin has networks and apps that can be built on it, right? Dogecoin is a meme coin. It's a shit coin, right? All these, there's like Polygon. It's a layer 2 network built on Ethereum, so you can build apps on it. Like you need to do your research. You need to figure out what coins are actually utility coins built on networks that can build, that other decentralized applications can build on top of these networks, and which coins are shit coins, right? There's a difference between them.
Shit coins just to make money and nothing more. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but some of them have more utility. I call them shit. Like people that are early investors in Bitcoin call every coin but Bitcoin a shit coin. You want to be technical.
Okay.
So they call Ethereum a shit coin too. But, I call like coins with pumpamentals shit coin. But they have their place. We can't mistake it. Just like Elon Musk said, wouldn't it be the funniest thing in the world, the ultimate like fu to the world, to the way the nation is built, the way society thinks, that we have a meme coin as our world currency?
I mean, that
Right?
I would love that personally. Yes,
That'd be hilarious.
Yes. And for that to be a possibility, it's fucking great, right? And anything that gets anyone interested into crypto and blockchain technology, because what did they say? You come in for the money, you stay for the revolution.
Sure.
Right? You're coming in to make money. People come in, I'm going to make money. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a millionaire. And then you just put $100 on this one coin. It's going to the moon.
Yeah,
And then
they just get wrapped
lose all
up
their
in
money.
like,
yeah.
I guess the fan base of it all.
Well, they lose their money and then they start doing research on why they lost their money. Right? So it's great, but you just got to do your research. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
so we got like 3-5 minutes here. What's something that you would want
definitely learned
to,
something.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea how it started, the origins, what means. Like I've definitely learned a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you have one final thing to just sort of like I don't know, what should people look into? What do people need to know? Is there anything that you can sort of let others know about why they should even care about any of this? Like, if you were to sum it up quickly.
Yeah. So I'll just sum up real quickly of what happened to me and what I do. I had my identity all stolen back in Equifax and AT&T, and I found a way. This is a way to be. I just hate centralized places because when you store your identity and store your money in centralized places, it's availability to get hacked and to get messed up.
Yeah.
So I just I watched a documentary on Netflix called "Banking on Bitcoin." It's actually on YouTube as well. Banking on Bitcoin. It's about an hour and a half long. It's great. It's older, but it's great. So it's 2016, 2017. I watched that. I got it. I was introduced to Bitcoin back in 2012 on the Silk Road, but I'd never kept it. I just used it. And then later on, I was like, oh, Bitcoin is still here. Everyone always says that Bitcoin's still here. And that was 2016 for me. And I invested in 2017, got addicted. I got a job in 2020 as a ghostwriter for a big publishing firm, and I worked for a guru, kind of like Warren Buffett type guy, and I ghost wrote for him about crypto for a couple of years. Now I work for a healthcare industry, because people are paying ridiculous amount of monies on administrative costs and on costs for connecting with doctors. So we're trying to connect people in the U.S. and people around the world with doctors around the world where they can get help and services from doctors in a cheaper way. The guy that I work with has created WebMD. He worked for Obama for 2 years, and he worked for Bush for 2 years. His name's Pradeep Gal, and the company I work for is called SolveCare. So we're trying to connect people to people, doctors to people in a peer-to-peer way, and we're using the Solve token to be able to make payments through this and the utility of that.
Yeah, that's neat. That way you don't have to have a million middlemen all trying to make money, and you're just going directly from the doctor to the client.
Yes, cool. And no administration costs, no hospital costs, no whatever. And you find a doctor in your country that you can speak their language, and you don't have to pay these American crazy costs. And then they just tell you, okay, you need to get this and this done, that and that done, and you go into a doctor here and get all of it done. You don't need to go for
So I
consultation.
actually did it recently. It was a few months ago. I did just like I found a random doctor that you can just do a video call with because I just need something real fast. Did it really easy peasy, and obviously being there in person outside of physically touching, you could do everything you need to do.
The nurse does it all.
Yeah.
The nurse does it all. The doctor, because the doctor is what costs money. When you go in there and
Right.
you have the nurses do everything, it's really cheap.
But what I'm
As soon as you
saying
get
is
the doctors involved, that's where the cost.
90% of it could be handled just by visually seeing the person.
Yeah.
Like rarely
know.
do you ever even have to touch them to solve a problem. You know what I mean?
So you could tie that in with any industry in blockchain.
Yeah.
It's not just crypto. I mean, it's not just finance. It's real estate. It's gaming. It's everything you can imagine. It's like, what are you into? What do you like? I like collectibles. You look behind me, you see all these collectibles and stuff. You know, that's what I'm into. So I love like going to yard sales and going to swap shops and finding rare games. Like, yes, I told Tim last weekend, somebody found a Sega Saturn. I watched them right in front of me. I was on the same table grabbing. I grabbed Resident Evil 2 and some Game Boy games. Somebody right next to me grabs a Sega Saturn box, in the box, styrofoam, still in the styrofoam, still in the box's prestige. He opens it up like this: controllers, manual. Looks like it's never been played. How much for this? $50. Okay, thank you.
You're talking like 400 or 500.
Just for the styrofoam.
Yeah. So is your mindset on by the time things are so much out there, and like let's say a video game, by the time a video game is just as good as stuff we're playing right now, it would be too late to hop on board because now it's so big. What are you gonna make from it at this point? Because we're wanting to use it in our daily life in terms of like, oh, my paychecks, I go to the store, I do whatever. But at this point, I'm too late to the game to earn any real leeway to where you jump early while it's still in the ground, while it still looks ugly. Now you can reap the rewards in the end. Is that?
And also look at it like what's this game that everyone plays? The shooting with the cartoon characters. Fortnite. What Fortnite did to the industry.
Right. Yeah.
Look how it totally changed.
Yeah.
Just like on the streaming platforms. What streaming platforms did to music and video is what Fallout did to gaming, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing what the blockchain industry is going to do to gaming. Okay?
That's a good point. I will say, on the other end of it, I think that one piece of advice I'd give anyone who's trying to put the word out there, kind of how you're doing, is, I have a few people on my Facebook, for example, who they're like very much, they make me not want to get into it because they make you feel like you're an idiot because you're not doing it yet. I'm like, I don't think that's the right way to pull me in,
They're
Maybe
way too intense. They're way too forceful. Right. They're way too just like
this conversation has done way more for me than any in the last 10 years, which
because those people are not educated. They're shilling a project.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're trying to shill a coin that they bought. Right. Did I talk to you about making money at all?
Not really.
No. Just educating about it. That's about it. Yeah.
But it was informative, and
which is what I want. I want to be educated. I don't want to be, don't know, yelled at.
But it was like okay to ask questions about it that you should know, I guess,
And that's what you look for when you watch your YouTube videos. If you're clicking on a YouTube video and you got these splash 1000x game splash
yeah. I immediately click it away. Yeah. I'm not watching
like,
crap. Yeah.
You don't watch that guy. There are some good guys that do it because they know that they play the algorithm and YouTube algorithm. And they are good people. Like
Mr. Matty Plays is my basic example of like someone who plays the algorithm, and I cringe at like his thumbnails and how whatever, but his content is still great. So I know what you mean.
Ivan on Tech for crypto is mine. Okay, Ivan on Tech. If there's one crypto guy that he's the one that brought me to it, and I actually took his courses as online, and his courses is an actual college in the country of Georgia. and people from Africa go to the country of Georgia to take his classes and stuff. And it's what got me my job. I put his certificates on LinkedIn, and it's what got me my job.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Ivan on Tech is the Morales Money is it's called his thing is called Morales Money. I think that's what his academy is called.
Okay.
But on YouTube it's called Ivan on Tech. That's all you need to watch. Watch him, and then you can kind of understand who else to watch.
Now, before we get into, because there was two case showcases that took place, Game Fest and Xbox Showcase, so we need to move along. But, do you have anything of where what people can follow what you do or anything like that? Do you even want to shout anything out, or how do you want to?
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I'm also on Twitter. My thing is Local Bit Buddy, LOKAL, local, however you spell local, just not with the C, with the K.
Okay.
Bit, BIT, Buddy, BUDDY.
Okay.
And I'm active
and they can
on
follow
Facebook
you on
and
Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, right. I've been more active on Facebook in my past, but right now I'm more active on Twitter right now because that's where
I find most people in our space don't use Facebook. I use Facebook, but I find most don't in my like sphere of gaming. Rudy, do you agree with that?
Yeah. I would say so.
Okay.
I like Facebook because of the Facebook groups. I'm a forum
That's
guy.
the main.
I love forums. So
I love the forums too. The Facebook groups though have been a game changer for me in terms of gaming. I think it's made me use Facebook way more.
What about Twitter Spaces? Have y'all looked into
Twitter Spaces? I actually really
cool.
like. I haven't had too much experience with them, but whenever someone I follow is doing one, I always jump in there. I'm like, this is actually a cool idea. You know, it's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Yeah,
it's like such a simple. Why is it like when I think of Twitter, I'm like, okay, a bunch of people in a room talking. What's so cool about this? But it just feels like not normal for some reason. It feels cool, you know?
Yeah, the crypto world lives on Twitter, but Facebook is for my family and friends. You know, you got to have Facebook for your family and friends because that's where you keep in contact with family and friends. Yes, but Twitter is where you can have your own persona, your own different identity, and be your other ego. And just fuck around.
I mean, I just do that on Facebook anyway, and people hate me. So it'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't. Because I've done it, but then I've had people contacting my work, and I can't have that.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. I mean, do you want to leave, stay on for the rest while we get into all this? I mean, it's all stuff.
Yeah, I'll watch along. I'll put me on mute, and I'll follow along.
Okay. I mean, you can chime in whenever. I've had many guests stay on. I've had many leave. It's up to you. And whatever just want, sort of chime in whenever you want. All right. Well, let's get into it here. Summer Game Fest. So we got Summer Game Fest and we have the Xbox Showcase. They both happened. What was it? Saturday and Sunday, or was it like Friday and Sunday? I forget when the Summer Game Fest happened. Before we get exactly into the Summer Game Fest, into the announcements, I first just want to do what we always do. And did you watch the Summer Game Fest, though? Like, front to back? Or did you just pull clips from it?
I have to say, I don't know what's going on with me lately, but these shows have not been pulling me in more. I'll watch, like, the PlayStation Directs. I'll watch a Nintendo Direct for sure, the Xbox Showcase. But some of these other ones, I've become more comfortable. I think because they've just been not that great lately.
Well, it's not. So I was saying I watched it all and I regret it. So you were in the right to do that.
Oh man, I just feel like
I give it a C at best. You know, they have really good things up in there. The problem is a lot like PlayStation Showcase is like you have how many showing off, and you have a handful that's good, and then the rest is just a bunch of mobile stuff or just like pay to win games or microtransaction. I don't know, just all of the crap that none of us would care about.
Right, no, it's definitely disappointing.
So I definitely went through and I pick and pulled, and the only ones that I thought were even worthy mentioning I put into here. There was far more shown than what I put into this document, but I feel this is only things of consequence. So yeah, for me, I'm giving it like a C minus. Like overall, just because there was too much filler. But there was some great stuff in here. So let's get into it. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming early 2024, which we knew because they said winter, but I guess it's not going to be December. It's going to be more like January, February. Did you see this?
I did, and I'm very excited about it. I mean, whatever. It's kind of a long way away, but that's okay. I mean, they can take.
How many times can you rebirth it? I'm
so Final Fantasy VII. One, did you ever play this, Dan? I don't
of course,
remember.
How many are there? Because I think I got them all, but I gotta go get another one.
No. It released on PS1, right? They did a remake on PS4 and PC, wherever. But what it technically is, and this is common knowledge now, but at the time of release, they didn't know, and people would consider this a spoiler. But it's not anymore. It's actually a sequel and not a remake. So Final Fantasy VII Remake technically takes place after Advent Children, which is a movie that takes place after the game. So it's like the game, the movie, and then Final Fantasy VII Remake. But Final Fantasy Remake takes place after the game. And there's a lot of like time travel and stuff and all that, and that's why. Anyway, so this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is part 2 to the remake that came out recently. So it's all convoluted mess. But I think it actually makes sense if you get into the nitty-gritty of it. It's nothing like, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts that actually doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, that's way too far. I'm excited.
In the beginning, it shows them all dead. And what I think is taking place is clearly just Shinra's trying to show them as being dead to like the media, but they're not actually dead. That's like one take. And the second take that a lot of people thought was really happening, but I don't think, is you have the split timeline, right? So whatever takes place at the end, and I'm not going to say in case someone still wants to play that. Sure. But it splits the timeline and it continues. And they're thinking that the beginning scene is that split timeline. I don't. I think it's just Shinra trying to pretend that they're dead, but they're not. That way they can find them and kill them themselves without people trying to search for them and all of this mess.
Right.
They're trying to keep it more into the the Turks, right? Are trying to control the situation. Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about this that maybe I need to correct this is I feel that now they're making it where you almost have to play some of the side content, which I just haven't. I've never played Crisis Core. I know there's a remaster now.
I don't think so. I don't.
No. I feel like the story is embracing all this stuff that I have no idea about because I never played.
Because I know that, and it is, but it's more of just like extra content,
just like extra stuff for
It's not critical.
Yeah, and the way the new games are set up now, I get lost in the side content. Before, it's like you're so addicted, you got to finish all the side quests in this map before you leave this area. Then you learn that it's repetitive and they don't end. You're like, what the fuck am I just spending my life on?
Oh, it's so true. So true. That is so true. And there's like very small amount of really special games that nail the side content so well where you don't feel it's repetitive. That's not common though, but occasionally.
I love Final Fantasy VII, and I think the side content is there's a lot of bad in there actually.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Witcher 3 is an example.
Witcher 3 does a good job of it. Yeah. Same with Cyberpunk.
Destiny. I feel like Destiny. Even though that was back in the day, Destiny's
it's pretty good.
It's good, but it's like a Borderlands. You get addicted.
You get addicted to the loop. Yeah, you're right.
And then you just kind of falls out. You don't play it anymore. And I'm not a first-person shooter much game. I like first-person shooter games, but I'm not much. I'm more of role-playing games, or and I'm getting into the massive multiplayer role-playing. But yes, anything that's like Morrowind, that's what I'm addicted to.
Yeah, so you'll probably be right into Starfield there.
Starfield is what you need to look into. I mean, for real, it's basically Mass Effect but Bethesda, and looks phenomenal.
Right.
Anyway, but before we move on, I just needed to mention that holy crap, when they actually show the open fields, right? I was so excited just knowing.
I can't wait to watch it.
Because you just get like an overhead in the original game, and you just kind of are walking over an overworld map like Final Fantasy VI or any other Final Fantasy. But finally, like fully 3D, getting from one town to the next and going through a forest or whatever and actually going through it in real time, and it looks phenomenal for that. And so that's what got me hyped more than anything. And comes on 2 discs, 2 Blu-ray discs, and they're not typical Blu-ray discs. They're the 100 gig, because now on the new systems that they do like the 4K Blu-ray, so each disc can do 100 gig. It takes up 2. So best case scenario, you're looking at like 150 gigs, but this may be upwards to like 200. So
Jesus.
just heads up.
It's so crazy.
But it's wild
Alright.
that we are getting game files that large. So I just
I know.
had to mention that. But it makes sense when you see how beautiful the world is and how massive this game is, and they're actually trying to bring it to scale. It is
Sure.
going to get very large, and so
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Mhm.
But I'm also excited for this next one, Spider-Man 2. It's October 20th release date. Yeah, I'm pumped, man. I thought that trailer was great. It got me excited. I know you were a little more like
This trailer
real
won
warm
me
on it.
over a little more,
Okay.
than the PlayStation 1. I don't know. I felt that just kind of dragged, and I guess they just sort of thing. But what's really weird is it comes out October 20th. We didn't know that at the PlayStation Showcase. Why would they
Right.
announce it here?
I have no clue. I don't know why. Why
At
did they not
PlayStation's
announce the
own
Final
event
Fantasy
with their own game? Didn't even give the
Right.
date, but they give it to somebody. They give it to Keeley to announce.
or the
That's
Final
it.
Fantasy demo? Why was that not announced at PlayStation's showcase? Just weird choices like
You're
that.
right,
But I don't know.
right. Anyway, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. This looked like crap. Looks like some cheap mobile game or something. I don't know. I saw some people thinking that was hype. I definitely didn't. Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay looked incredible. I didn't care about Mortal Kombat, not for a very long time. But when I saw this, I don't know. I think I'm in. Like, this is really exciting. This looks phenomenal.
It looks good.
Really, really
It looks
good.
really good. I can only balance one fighting game at a time because they demand so much from you. So
Yeah.
we'll see how I feel with Street Fighter by the time Mortal Kombat comes out, but I am interested for sure. All right. Next up, Sonic Superstars, a new 2.5D classic Sonic game coming fall 2023. I mean, I like that aspect. I like the 2.5D. So
Did you see
I actually
this
haven't.
trailer?
I haven't seen this trailer. I'm gonna look it up
Okay.
right now. Actually,
Weirdly, like, I didn't think I would care, but I care. This looks
Okay.
so good. They're doing multiplayer. You can actually play like 4 players on one screen, almost like a new Super Mario Bros. Wii kind of vibe.
Ooh,
But
looks-
it's like,
wow, this looks really cool. Actually,
I think the graphics look really nice. I think it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that perfect level of speed.
wait, and then it's got like the visuals changed. Like, is this a different game? Is this in the same game? It looks like
maybe you
more
switch back and
cartoony now.
forth is what I'm guessing.
Oh,
Maybe you
okay.
go between like the classic and like that more like Sonic Generations look. But yeah, you can do Sonic,
Interesting.
Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, but you could all play 4-player at the same time, which you would think would look really bad, but I think they're gonna pull it off. I think the way they present it here, at least, looks really nice with
Very
it.
cool.
So
Sounds cool.
Actually, it's something I could totally play with my kid and have a good time.
I would definitely play this. I like that. That's very cool. All right.
Alan Wake 2. Did you see this? Now,
I did see this.
guess what have you seen in all of this? I guess is what
I
should
saw the
ask.
Alan Wake 2. I saw the Twisted Metal, Liza P.
Okay,
I missed the other stuff. I didn't see the
Okay.
other stuff yet.
but Alan
What
Wake
did
2.
Twisted
let's
Metal
play
look
this.
like?
I don't know what to think for. Well, we'll get to it, but I guess we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah,
since we're
might as
here.
well
The
talk about it
Twisted
now.
Metal-
I think it looks it. We
I'm
have
willing
yet
to
to
give
see
it a
car
shot. It's
combat. Okay,
we
first
haven't
of all,
seen
and
much yet. It's hard to tell.
It's a live TV show that they're releasing. But
I'm
Will
just-
Arnett
Oh, that's
is the
cool though, 'cause
voice.
that's kind of like what they did
for,
on the first ones.
Yes, if they actually show Twisted Metal stuff, but anything we've seen is people talking, and I'm like, what do you? I don't get these trailers. And it comes out in July, I want to say, yeah, July 27th on Peacock. I don't have Peacock, and I don't know. I guess I'll try a trial just to watch this. But they have yet to show any car combat, anything car related whatsoever. It's just people talking and maybe a fist fight and some funny humor stuff things. So I don't know I don't understand what I'm watching. But I love Will Arnett, I guess,
too.
and he's the voice of Sweet Tooth. So I guess they have that going for him.
Yep. So about Alan Wake, I
Yeah.
still have not played the first one. I'm going to before this comes out. But what did you think about the trailer, the gameplay reveal?
They're clearly taking more of like a Resident Evil vibe to this. So the
Yeah.
original Alan Wake, the gameplay, like I said, is a little weak, but I think the premise is incredibly cool. Dan, do you remember that Johnny Depp movie, The Window? What was that movie called? He was a writer.
Is that the Johnny Depp
Secret
movie?
Window.
Secret
The
Window,
Secret
yeah.
Window. Bam.
Yeah, that was a good
Alan
movie.
Wake is basically that movie. He's a writer up in the middle of the woods, and a bunch of really trippy, crazy things take place. And I love it for
that's
that.
crazy.
Really, really cool vibes. But Alan Wake 2 looks to be, but the gameplay was a little weak, and you just had a flashlight, and it got kind of repetitive towards the end. But this looks to be like graphical, like Resident Evil 4 remake looking. Looks incredibly good. But you actually are looking more like a survival horror game to where like you're actually shooting this time and actually having like more monsters to kill and everything, and it's a lot more horror than just mind trippy. So I'm really about this. I'm super happy. It makes me want to play Control even more, Rudy. I need to get around to that so I can
I love
play the
that
Alan
game.
Wake DLC. That way I can
Such a
connect the
good
two
one.
games. So I'm looking forward to that. October 17th release date. That was one of my favorites of the show. I want to say that was a really cool trailer. Anyway, Like a Dragon Gaiden. Basically, they're taking the Like a Dragon name now instead of Yakuza, right?
Right.
But Like a Dragon Gaiden is going back to like beat 'em up style
right.
and not the RPG. Where the next Like a Dragon was coming out. Oh, I guess they're calling him I don't know. I don't get what's going on. All I know is the other side going on with the main character from 7 from Like a Dragon. That's the JRPG, and that wasn't this game. This is like them showing off to beat 'em up. Anyway, Like a Dragon Gaiden come November 9th. I don't know.
All right. Next up, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, 2024. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
It looked like crap.
All right, I won't even check it out.
Sandland. Did you see this? This is
No, I did not see this
really
one.
important to see. So this is artist from Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest. We all know him. This is his game that he's making based off of a really short-lived manga.
Okay, this looks cool. Wow, I love the visuals.
So yeah, it's I can never say his name correctly, but Akira Toriyama is just flexing though with his game, and it
good.
being current gen only with his art style is incredibly exciting for me.
It's beautiful. It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Next up, Pal World, early access, January 2024. I'm pretty sure I did see this one. Yeah,
That's
this
the
is with the little
Pokemon
creatures,
with
the Pokemon style. Yeah. Saw that.
What?
It's Pokemon with guns.
That sounds crazy, but when you watch it, it's way crazier than you even imagine. They're like mini guns, and the graphical style is something that you would see of like these like Unreal Engine 5 games started sprouting up. It just weirdly looks really, really nice. Unlike Pokemon, that looks really, really bad graphically wise nowadays. But anyway, yeah.
This next up, this Lord of the Rings game, The Return to Moria, fall of this year. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this. I mean, it was fine, I guess. I'm kind of sour on Lord of the Rings right now after that Gollum came out.
Yeah, and this is just something where like, it's a mining game and you build your fortress or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't excite me.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. We talked about Twisted Metal already. Liza P, did you watch this though?
I did not watch the new trailer yet for the demo. I gotta try that demo out too. Is the demo on all platforms? Or is it only PlayStation?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I saw it on Xbox, so I'm imagining all platforms. I don't know. I have yet to try it. Literally installed it and haven't booted it up yet.
Oh, it's on Steam. Okay, I'll check it out.
Cool. September 19 release date. But I think this game looks phenomenal. I'm seeing a lot of people that have played it say that, like, it doesn't feel as fast and fluid as like
Okay.
from software. And I'm like,
It's a
I
high
guess
bar.
I guess I'm expecting that just because no one has yet to do it,
Right,
right?
right,
I don't
exactly.
know if anyone has. Um, but as long as I don't know, I don't think it I don't think it needs to be, but at the same time, I haven't felt it yet. Maybe it does feel really bad and off. But I don't think people are necessarily saying that. I just see, hey, it's not as good as them, which, yeah, no, duh, I guess. But I just way too into the premise. I mean, a Pinocchio game, Dark Souls, like, that just sounds way too good to not play. And you can tell that they care weirdly about this IP. I mean, the attention to detail and its world building is through the roof in this game, regardless of the combat, how that feels. And it has me excited to play it just for that reason alone.
Yep. I'm definitely gonna try the demo out and I'll have some impressions next week. So
Yeah,
same with
yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
Me too, me too, me too. I wish I would have played them already.
I
'Cause,
know,
like,
me too.
God, yeah.
All
Anyway,
right. I'm sorry, I don't remember if I went last or not.
I don't know. Just it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
whatever. Witchfire. I do remember seeing the original trailer for this from the creators of Vanishing of Ethan Carter, Painkiller, and Bulletstorm. It's going early access September 20th. So I definitely want to check that out. I remember thinking it looked kind of cool. I was interested. So yeah.
I don't want to jump onto an early access. I'd rather just wait for it to release.
Yeah.
But yes, what they showed, I mean, it looks even better than their last showing for sure. Looks great. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I definitely want to play that.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
If people don't know, it's basically Doom, but you're like it's more involved with the music than even Doom is, but it's not
Yes.
quite one of those games to where it's like bullets per minute, but it's somewhere in between that, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, and
All
then this
right.
last Under the Waves, this is the one I want to say, um, David Cage, his studio. What am I
Yes,
thinking?
wasn't it?
With Detroit
Quantic
Become Human
Dream.
and all that, Quantum Dream. They're publishing this, so he's not making this, but they're publishing it, and it's definitely vibes of that studio for sure. And it
Sure.
looks really interesting because, well, I have a big fear of just underwater and all of that. And it kind of makes me want to play this just because it could really mess with my fears. And it looks like a
Right.
horror game of him discovering ships underwater and all that. And I think it looks great. I really want to play this.
I think it does look cool as well. I agree.
Yeah,
Had to
August
refresh my memory on
29th.
that one, but
But again,
all right,
like as
sweet.
a whole, I'm rating it like a C, maybe even like a C minus. But there still was a decent amount of cool things shown here. Now, for
Sure.
me, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that's all I needed. And I could have just not watched
I
the
mean, yeah, that's
rest.
enough. That's enough for the whole thing. Yeah. All right.
But
Very
yeah.
cool. Well, guess we'll go on to the Xbox showcase now.
Now this
So
way better.
was
This
definitely
is
better.
actually something people need to watch. And you watched
Right.
it all, but you just didn't get to see
I-
the Starfield.
I just didn't see the
bit of it.
Starfield, which I'll get
But
to.
it's not just the Starfield bit, because the thing is like it's a whole other hour. And it goes into anything and everything you would need to know about Starfield. And you would maybe think, well, maybe I don't want to see this or that. With a game like Starfield, it's different than other games. You want to know as many details as you can.
Right.
It
Of
doesn't
course.
really spoil anything whatsoever, but it's worth knowing just how everything functions. Because, I mean, once you see the showcase, you'll realize, oh, like, remember when, let's say, Skyrim came out and there was nothing close to it in terms of the depth levels of it all, right? Of like how deep the magic system gets, how deep the world gets, how deep the sky view gets, whatever. Every aspect of it was leaps and bounds above what we got prior in terms of an
Right.
RPG, right? That's what it feels like when I'm seeing this. When it comes to Starfield, I've never seen a game go this deep in so many different categories, right? And pull it off so
Sure.
well. And I figured to get into it last, but I'll just go ahead and just dive into it now before we get into the rest. But the deal with Starfield is it's 30 on console. I'm jumping to PC. I can't do shooters in 30, so I just also wanted to say that. But you can play in third person, so maybe like if I just really want to be lazy and play on the couch, maybe if I play in third person, maybe that'll help with that. But I don't think people understand, like, it's actually a little, I don't want to say you get sick or dizzy, but close enough, right? When you're
It just
playing
messes
something
with
like,
me. It
yeah,
doesn't
it
feel
kind of
right.
messes with my head and makes me, I don't know. It's definitely not enjoyable. And gaming is all about how it controls and feels, to me
Right.
at least, right? And especially a shooter. So it's just
I agree.
it's hard to get into that mindset with that. Anyway, but I it's kind of like it's weirdly such a small facet of the conversation only because this looks so incredible, and it kind of reminds me of the back of with Zelda, right? It's like, okay, yeah, of course, I wished it was 60. That'd be really cool. But this game is just so incredible, nobody seems to care anymore once you actually play it because it's just that good. And I have a real big feeling that's like it's going to be that with this. The problem is you still have that shooting aspect. That's where I still don't know if I can go full 30. You know what I mean? But I feel a lot of people just playing like third person RPG, walking around, talking to people and all of that, I think they'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be too much of a worrisome, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't think
enough
so,
for
man.
me to move to PC. But, you know. I think way better shown than anything we've seen prior. Anything we've seen prior, I thought it looked okay in spots, but I thought it was still overall kind of ugly. For some reason, I don't know. They put the graphics to 15 out of 10 or something. This is some of the best stuff I've seen in gaming. Maybe the characters, right, aren't like the best compared to current games, but
Sure.
certainly it's landscapes and certainly like the way buildings look, the guns look, even like the clothes on people and everything. Pretty much everything outside of an awkward face is incredible when it comes to the art vision of this game. And I don't know. I'm incredibly stoked. If I were to grade it on its own, it's like literally A plus for me. They couldn't have showed anything greater of what would have me excited. I thought it was just like it sold me. I mean, easily. Like I was excited for this game, but now I'm actually like I feel this is doing something no one's ever done before, breaking new ground, and being one of those like it's making me feel like Skyrim's releasing again.
No,
Even
they're
though I wasn't
definitely
even a big Skyrim guy, to be honest. I
right.
actually was kind of whatever on it. But you know what I mean, just the amount of magnitude that it's bringing to the table compared to its competition.
No, it's
I
definitely
think
taking it
there's
a step farther than normal. But all right,
anyway.
well let's start running through these. So first of all, we had Fable. First look at I don't know if it was gameplay. I think it was
Went back and rewatched it, and what it is there's bits of gameplay. So all of
Gotcha.
it's in game, right? None of it's like a CG cutscene. All of it's the in-game engine, which is what I assumed.
Right.
So I found that out. But there are bits to where you actually when she's doing the combat and like rolling over the people
Right.
or
I saw
whatever,
that part. Yeah.
that was actual just her playing the game. So
Okay.
I will say that, but there was only little moments here or there. There wasn't much. So it was pretty disappointing to me in terms of not seeing much gameplay, and we still don't have a
Yeah.
release date. But at least
That's
we
the other thing
get
that
like
worries.
the tone of it, though, and at least we get
Right.
well, at least we know that they understand what Fable is. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I saw someone write that the fact that they put 2024 on many games that they feel confident will come in 2024, and they put no date on Fable.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, maybe it's not even 2024. You know, so
Exactly.
we'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm just gonna bet 2025 on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Next up,
yeah,
you can take that one.
South of Midnight. I thought this looked incredible. Again, no release date, but this
Need a reminder.
was
Pretty sure I remember which one it was. Oh yeah, this looked cool. I remember.
Compulsion Games, right? Is that
Yes,
yes?
yes,
And
yep.
they did that Contrast game, PS4.
Yes, I do remember that game. Yep.
Um,
Thought
I
it looked
think
cool.
the style here is like incredibly strong, fantastic art style. I loved everything I saw, but again, no gameplay, no release date. So
Yep,
that's like
just
two back to back right in the beginning where
little
I'm just like,
tease.
oh God, is this show gonna go bad? But it didn't. Like,
No, it
thankfully,
didn't.
things turned around
Yep,
pretty
yep.
good, actually. And not that these were bad, it just had me
No, it's just
fearing
right.
that we weren't going to see much gameplay.
Weren't going to see anything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, next up, speaking of that, we have Star Wars Outlaws, which we didn't see gameplay there, but the next day, apparently,
And I
Ubisoft
skimmed through it.
showed us
I
some.
like an
Yes, I got
hour
to look at
ago.
that.
I was actually just skimming the video real quick. It looks a lot. I mean, a lot like the Respawn games. I
Gotcha.
mean, almost too close. Where I'm like, I mean, I'm not hating. Those are great games, and this looks pretty good, but I don't think it looks as good as those Jedi games. And it looks very similar to those, but they don't do as good of a job with it.
I'm
So
going to
it
watch the
kind of
video.
is like, I'm sure it's going to be a good game, but it's hard to have that sitting there out competing it next to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's Ubisoft too, which
Yeah.
they've been questionable lately. So, guess we'll see on that one.
This 33 Immortals, dude, I think this looks phenomenal. I mean, this is basically Hades, but
Yes, I did like this.
33 people multiplayer at the same time.
Yep, yep, that was a
Now,
cool
up
one.
to, obviously, it doesn't have to be 33 people.
Right, right,
But
right.
even, dude, just like 4 or 5 friends all getting together and playing.
Just a few people, yeah. No,
That'd be really
that game
fun.
does look really cool. Then we saw Payday 3, which I know we both spoke about it. I haven't played the Payday games. I've always heard about them. I have some interest in this though. I would, if I'm going to play anyone, I might as well play the most recent version. It looks like they've done a lot to it. So yeah,
I
I'd be
would
interested.
play it if somebody was like, "Hey, hop on and play." I think I would.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna say like I'm hyped or anything.
Right, of course. Yeah, same here. Speaking of being hyped though.
No, this is this my favorite moment of the show? Actually, man, Starfield's my favorite moment of the show. That was great.
Yeah.
But this is my number 2. Anyway, Persona 3 Reload. First of all, I was right. Bam.
Yeah.
On seeing gameplay and it coming early next year. I think I said all of that.
I think you did, yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say though, is like, and we saw it later in the show. We actually got 3 Atlas JRPGs from them in this show, proving exactly what I was saying of, well, we're having problems with Square Enix. Let's just buddy up with Sega and get all these Atlas JRPGs on our system instead. And to be honest, that's not a bad thing. I mean,
it looks like it's worked out well for them so far.
Atlas is phenomenal. I love Atlas. I'm a big fan of theirs. They make, I mean, you could argue which one's better and sit there all day. I don't know. Right. I mean, I guess I'm gonna choose Square Enix, but it's a close battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not. It's not like a blowout. Yeah.
Yeah. But Persona 3 Reload. Now there are some big things of just like huge eye rolls. They're not including the content from Fez. So, like, you had the Persona 3, then you have Persona 3 Fez, which come with, like, this extra campaign. They're not including that. And then they're not including the content from Persona 3 Portable. It is a remake of the original game, and they're not adding that other stuff. And they just said that publicly. Now, that being said, okay, like, I'm bummed. I roll my eyes. I don't care. I'm still playing this. I still would recommend it to anyone and everyone. It literally is just the Persona 5 engine, but Persona 3. And so you get all those quality of life things, you get the graphical presentation of it all and everything. But the music, dude. The music I think is the best in 3. But that's not the reason to play. The biggest reason is just story. It has my favorite story. It's the darkest of them all, and it has the best music. And that's why I say go there. And now I can finally recommend people to play it without going through some crazy ass loops to get a hold of this game. And comes out early 2024. So
very cool, very exciting.
Yep.
Next up, we saw Avowed. This is the first time we saw like a little more in depth. I thought it looked decent. Didn't like wow me or anything, but I want to see more. Pretty much. It was very big. I saw a report too that said it's to be closer to the size of, shoot, what was it? Not Skyrim, but it was closer to. Oh my God! Of course, I'm forgetting what they said
The
now.
one that came out recently, that's kind of like Fallout, Outer Worlds.
That's what it was. They said it's
Yeah.
closer to the size of something like that versus something way
Yeah.
bigger like Skyrim. So.
And yeah, I've seen them say that before too. So I already had those expectations in check. But just like Outer Worlds and sort of the depth and how much gameplay and all that. But it's an Elder Scrolls type of game. So just that's basically what
Sure.
this is. But I think the graphical style like is a little too on the cartoony side. I was hoping it wouldn't be this cartoony. But I don't know. It's hard to know till I just see him play more of it, because it's like some of those shots looked really good actually, like the magic and stuff. And then it was just like I thought the beginning looked kind of ugly, and then I saw parts of it where I'm like, oh, that actually doesn't at all. That looks really good, and it's like it went back and forth with me. So I don't know. I'm a little iffy on its art style, but I'm still excited to just play it, because Obsidian, again, like I can't think of any example where they've just made a bad game. I'm
No.
sure it's gonna be good, and I'm sure I just
Yeah.
need to like get my hands on it.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm excited. All right. Next up, flight sim missions, and I'm pretty sure they also did the little Dune, the Hornet thing. I
Yes,
forgot what that
yes.
thing's called, little DLC or
Yeah, it's
something.
gonna be up in the game. And
More
they
flight
just
simulator. Nothing.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
putting
They
out
also
fires.
did the Sea of Thieves, where like Monkey Island
Yeah.
content. But again, I don't really care much about that. So that was kind of a low point. Then we got, which weirdly is a low point for me, was the Hellblade 2, because it's coming in 2024. Okay, but why aren't we getting gameplay? Why are we getting
I
some like,
know.
it's like 8 minutes long of her just like talking to herself in a cave?
Just like, yeah.
I'm like,
By
maybe
now,
make
I would
that
think.
like a minute and a half or something. Like it just
Wasn't
dragged
it
on too long.
wasn't the game announced in like, God, when was the
It
game first
was
announced?
it
It's been a few years
was
now.
right
Let's see.
before the new consoles launched. It was like they
Oh, so
were
in 2019, maybe? Yeah, December 2019. Yep.
oh wow, okay, that's longer than I thought. Okay.
Jesus.
Anyway, I want a gameplay of that, so it's pretty annoying. Again, same with Fable, same with South of Midnight. There are some bits to where I'm like, all right, come on, we need actual gameplay.
Sure, of course.
Then we got the actual Like a Dragon, the sequel to 7. This is Like a Dragon. This is 8, basically. It's just him waking up on a beach naked and people laughing at him. It comes out early 2024. Got some crappy Fallout 76 stuff. Hey, everything's on Game Pass, and Atlantic City's coming. Take this one though. This next.
Yes, Fallout 76
No,
is now on Game Pass.
The next one.
Kunitsu Gemi, Path of the Goddess announcement. No date.
Do you remember what this is though?
Yes, this one looked cool, didn't it? Hold on, let me check it. Yes. This was the one that I said I thought kind of reminded me of Neo a little bit. Yeah, this looks really cool. Definitely into this. All the weird, those little creatures with their tongues out and stuff. It reminds me of like Berserk or something. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's Capcom, and Capcom has been absolutely killing it lately.
Crushing it.
So I just have ultimate faith in them now, I guess, until they prove me wrong. So it's like, oh, cool, a new Capcom IP. I guess I will play that for sure, no problem. And it just happens to look phenomenal as expected. So, yeah, it's basically hack and slash, very Asia style. Really trippy visuals as well. I don't know. I really liked it. Okay. Forza Motorsport, we got a release date October 10th. I'm trying to rush through all of these, like, whatever ones. Overwatch 2 Invasion, new update coming October 10th. And then Persona 5 Tactica, November 17th.
Oh, yeah, that was the Tactics one, yep.
This is their second Atlas JRPG they showed. And yes, Persona 5, but tactics. And I think it looks great. And I think it's a phenomenal idea. And I think they should definitely do it. And yet another win to just slap on. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have about 9 or 10 big Game Pass games this year that I'm going to be really enjoying now.
All right.
So I'm excited about that. But I love tactics RPGs, and Persona 1 on top of that, I'm all about. Anyway, take these next, like, 3.
Sure. Don't Nod's chill climbing game called Jusant. Thought it looked kind of cool. Just, saw some climbing. It just looks interesting. The Chinese Rooms Still Wakes the Deep, early 2024. By the way, the climbing game was fall 2023. Dungeons of Hinterberg revealed 2024.
Click that. You remember what that was? The dungeon one?
I believe so.
That was the one
Yes.
that we thought
with
looked
the
like
cool
Rollodrome
graphics.
and Sable and all of that.
Yeah, definitely love the visual
you could even
style.
like grind on rails and like it looks like she was skateboarding and everything. I mean that looks so cool.
No, that does look really cool.
Yeah.
But this one I was truly actually hyped for Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, September 26th. They released a like a deep dive, which I still need to watch as well. And on top of that, I just thought the trailer was great. Idris Elba always, gets me interested. I can't wait to go back to this game, man. I'm super excited about it. So,
yep.
Yeah, very much.
I need to finish it because I never did. I played it at launch, got really far, and then purposely stopped because I was like, well, let me wait a while and then for them just to fix whatever, make things better, and I'll get back to it. And I still have yet to do that. I got more than halfway for sure. I just can't remember where I stopped exactly. It's been so long.
Sure.
How long is it? I mean, I played at least 30 hours. So.
Let's see how many hours I put into it right here. Cyberpunk. Hold on. I played Cyberpunk for, what? I want to say I put a lot of hours into it, but I did like everything. Wow. I played it for 111 hours.
Okay.
Like I really did pretty much everything you could do. I just love the game so much, man. I thought it was great. So yeah, I was definitely not one of the people who was not enjoying the game. So
yeah. And then City Skyline 2, October 24th. And then the makers of Persona, another Atlas game, the third one here, Metaphor Refantasio?
Something like that.
But what it is it's Atlas making a fantasy JRPG instead of it being like sci-fi, or I don't know if you want to call Persona sci-fi, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not fantasy. It's not like medieval sword shield thing. This Metaphor game is fantasy. So I don't know if they've ever even like done a fantasy. I know they haven't done a fantasy game, the makers of Persona. So I'm super excited about this, and I think it looks fantastic. It's like JRPG vibes mixed with fantasy, and I've never seen these two worlds colliding together at all, much less it being so well put together on top of it too. And just like of what they always nail, like the menu system and all of that. I think, man, like talk about, again, huge Xbox get. Just like, okay, they're really dying in the JRPG realm. Well, stuff like this, I mean, I guess not anymore. And that's been a thing for a while, I guess now. I guess I can not focus on that too much because they've been doing this more and more. But I don't know. Keep it up with their Sega connection, I guess you could, like... I'm really looking forward to just yet another just game I get to play on Game Pass that looks phenomenal. Super stoked on that.
Sure.
Do you remember what this next one is?
Towerborn. I think I do remember this. Let me double check though.
Did you ever play Banner Saga? I did.
I did play some of it. Yeah, I didn't beat it, but yes, I thought this looked really cool.
But the Banner Saga devs actually making a co-op action game. And it's kind of like in the vein of Castle Crashers, but
yes,
with the style of Banner Saga. It looks really, really, really cool.
It does look cool.
I really want.
I'm into that.
This last one.
Yeah, Clockwork Revolution, new FPS from In Exile. I thought it looked really cool. Gave me BioShock vibes. Yeah, I think it looks great. Don't really have much more to say on that one, but I'm
I mean, they used to be a really small studio. They're the people who did Wasteland. but they've always just not had much of a budget, and they were able to like stretch it a really long way with what budget they had. But now under Microsoft's umbrella, and they can really shine. They're really flexing their funds, and this, I mean, this is looking AAA with the studio that could barely be A. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
really really cool that they got a chance to actually like, I don't know. You know, you work so hard as a studio for how many years, wishing you had more funds, and then you just get like a huge dump on you with Microsoft money. And I bet they're really happy to be
Of
able to like truly make a game they've always wanted to, you know.
course.
So I
Yep.
love that about them. Um,
It's
but I
very
mean,
cool.
as a whole, I say like I'm like B minus. The only reason I'm leaning a little on B minus is just because
That's
like
where
the whole
I'm at, somewhere
gameplay
around
and some
there.
stuff.
Yep.
Um,
I thought it was a definitely a good show, though. Definitely way better than the.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
oops, my headset just came out. Definitely way better than the Summer Games Fest, whatever. So,
Oh, was that saying what? Did I say? Yeah, I'm a.
what do you think?
Yeah, this is a solid B.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think that's fair.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
All right. Let me
Um,
quickly run through what I'm playing here.
yep.
Not anything crazy. I'm still working on Zelda. Again, I feel very okay with just taking my time, really taking my time with Zelda. I don't know how many hours I'm in now, but I'm finally getting to like I'm just now getting to the first of like the 4 story bits where they spread it apart. I just entered the Zora's domain. I'm talking to some people there. That's where I'm at. I've continued to do
So is that the
shrines and
bottom left?
explore.
Because
Hold
I
on.
didn't go to Zora's yet.
No, it's east. It's to the east. So to the right. So like from the lookout landing or whatever it's called, there's like one to the east and one to the southeast. I went to the
Okay.
east, the top, higher one. So yeah, so I'm just starting to now advance the story a little bit. I had still done a
I
bunch of
have yet to
shrines,
go
things
to
like
that
that.
area. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah. I'm
Anyway,
just gonna do one mission at least, just kind of see what it's all about. So yeah, still
they're
enjoying that.
really epic. Like, you actually get like set pieces, and I don't want to spoil
Yeah, very cool.
anything, but it definitely like leads up to, I don't know, like you know, like previous Zeldas, how you would have like almost like a dungeon before the dungeon
Sure,
of all
sure.
these things you got to do to just get into the dungeon. They do that with this one,
Okay,
and
very cool.
in a really really cool way. Anyway,
I'm
I
excited.
mean, is there anything like I don't know, you discovered you thought was really weird or funny or
Um,
interesting or anything? Just
just the shrines keep impressing me. I keep thinking like I know everything about each shrine, and then still find a way to try to trip me up, which I think is always a cool thing. Just exploring some caves here and there, some sky islands occasionally, just fun stuff like that. Nothing that crazy,
did you
really.
get into the deeps yet?
The depths, not yet, because last I had gone, I didn't have the glider, and now that I have the glider, I haven't stumbled upon one again yet. But when
Okay,
next time I
okay,
find one, I'm gonna drop down there. So
okay.
yeah, still enjoying that. I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter. It's one thing to play Street Fighter by yourself, just play online with people. But like Dave got it too. My friend Keith got it. So we've been like competing with each other, and that makes us want to get better so much more now. A lot of the new mechanics are great. I think this is easily one of the best Street Fighters they've ever made. It's so good. My only complaint is the roster. I wish certain characters were in it, but hopefully they'll come later. But the way it feels, the new moves, this game has, in my opinion, the best at pulling someone into the fighting game that maybe isn't a big fighting game player, or they are. They give you all these walkthroughs for every character. They give you the combo trials. Every piece of info you need, they give it to you. It's really, really well done. They give you cut sample videos of how to do the combos, how to cancel this, how to do that, how to use this mechanic. It's really, really good. So if you're a newcomer, I'd say it totally is worth trying. And then there's the World Tour mode, which my friend's been playing since he really likes it. I haven't messed with it yet. But yeah, it's there, if you want it. So playing
I'll say
online has
of
been
what
great,
I've
seamless.
played, it's like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Alpha. I really love them. And then I didn't care much for 4. I thought it was good, but whatever. And then
Sure.
5, I cared even less about. And I feel 6 is almost like that could have just taken place after 3. and I
Yeah,
think
yeah, just
the
continue
series
it. Yeah,
never
yeah.
would have dipped. I guess
Sure.
you know.
No,
Um,
I think it's up there, man. It's really, really well done, really good. The online works so well. I haven't had any problems. Making custom rooms, finding people online, super easy. So yeah, definitely a great game, man. Really, really enjoying it. And finally, I just wanted to put the Final Fantasy 15 demo on here. I'm not
16,
actually.
16.
Oh wow, see, it puts it 15, 16 demo on there, and I'm gonna also do Lies of P demo just as I plan on doing those two. I have not actually
Me
played them
too.
yet, but yeah, I'm gonna get to those two.
Same
So
thing. I'm gonna download them. Well, I'll have Liza P installed. I need to download 16. I'm definitely getting to 16 first because that's like
yeah, same here.
fangirl and
And
hardcore.
I'm oh my god, I'm getting so excited because all I saw, and it's not a spoiler at all I saw was people posting like, oh man, they weren't kidding when they said that this story is a mature story. It pulled me in right away. So I'm like excited that it's gonna
Sick.
start with a bang in some way. Man, I can't wait. So very excited.
I was watching the sort of like announcement of them talking about Final Fantasy 16 and then announcing the demo. It was like this 30-minute video or something. I don't know. But I joined it and then listened for a few minutes and dipped. But when I joined it, they were literally announcing the demo. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was listening for a bit. And they were saying that this demo is purposely trying to showcase how dark the game can get. But they're
I
trying
love
to
that.
specify that, hey, play the rest of the game because it definitely gets a lot lighter than this, but we're just trying to purposely show you how dark it can become. But don't think that the whole game is this dark, is what they were trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So.
Well, I'm super excited, man. Either way. So yeah.
Which, you know, like, I mean, if you're into Final Fantasy, you're into Final Fantasy. It's not like they need
Right.
to
They
try
don't
to
need to convince
cater
me.
anybody or anything. But the ball's on them, though, to just be like, oh, here's the darkest part. Have fun. Like, I don't think no one
I
else would
can't.
do that.
I know. You're right. You're right. God, I
Um,
cannot wait, man.
I mean, there's nothing more I can talk on what I watch and play, and all I do is play Zelda.
Sure.
And anything I would say, I feel at this point would just like ruin things for people because I'm so in the weeds of it, seeing way too crazy cool of things that I never imagined, and then I was just like, my mind's blown. I will keep reiterating the best part of the game is in the depths. Easily.
Okay.
There is so much weird lore stuff down there, things that make sense to Zelda as a whole down there, things that put into context Hyrule with this guy. All of that looks like, well, I would say Hyrule and the depth are pretty equal grounds of cool stuff to explore and find. Just one's way harder than the other.
Gotcha. All right. I'm excited, man.
Okay. Well, that'll do it. Get the new game watch, and we'll be out.
All right.
Crime Boss, Rock Ray City, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, June 15th. Jenny? I don't know. Jack Jean. Switch. I guess that's probably it. June 15th. Layers of Fear.
Wait, is this the same Layers of Fear? Or is this a different?
This is like the new, because what did they do before? Was it Layer of Fears? I don't know what they did.
Well, I thought the first one was just called Layers of Fear, and then there was a Layers of Fear 2, I think. So what?
But they did a naming convention change where they swapped something. I can't remember what it was now. They added a letter or something.
Layers of Fear. How many Layers of Fear games are there? A sequel titled Layers of Fear 2 was released. A second sequel, also titled Layers of Fear, is set to launch on June 15th, 2023. Why?
I don't know.
Why? What the heck?
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. June 15th, like you said. F1 23. PlayStation, all platforms but Switch, June 16th. Park Beyond. Current gen only, June 16th. Aliens Dark Descent, all platforms June 20th. Crash Team Rumble, all platforms June 20th, but Switch. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. It seems that this is a remake of the first and second Layers of Fear in Unreal Engine 5.
I guess they like put them together. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea. I would play that.
No, it looks, holy crap. This looks fantastic.
So both together in Unreal Engine 5, I'd play that.
Yeah, it looks really good. Wow.
Because I mean,
on
I
my
don't know
radar
if
now.
I have yet to actually. Well, I haven't. I know I haven't. I haven't played a Unreal Engine 5 game yet. You know what I mean?
Whoa, that's pretty
So maybe
impressive.
this
All
will
right.
be the one.
Might be
How
on my
much is
radar
it?
now. I don't know. Good question. Let me see.
I'm looking on Steam right now.
I'm gonna wish list it
It
just to keep it
says
on.
releases in 2 days, but they don't even have a price.
And say the price.
No, I don't
There's a
know.
feed. Releases in 2 days. Okay, I'll add it to my wish list.
I don't know.
How long are these games? Let's see. I don't
I
think
would
they're very
assume
long.
not long, right?
Could
Like
squeeze them in,
five,
maybe.
6 hours.
Layers of Fear. Oh yeah, Layers of Fear, the original, 3.5. Layers of Fear 2, 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
What's Layers of Fear Inheritance? Is that a DLC? Oh, it expands the story. That's an hour and a half. Okay, so you could knock out both games in 10 hours probably
Hmm.
with the DLC.
All right.
All right,
I'm
looks cool.
excited to talk on 16 though when we come back.
Yo, man, I cannot wait. That's what I'm most excited about out of everything, honestly. I'm more excited to play 16 than Zelda
Demo.
and Street Fighter right now, a demo, yeah. But it transfers over to the real game, a great trend that needs to continue.
Oh, yes. Glad you mentioned
Yes.
that. Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, till
All
next
right,
time.
man. Later,
See ya.
guys.